It's not often. It's not often that you can actually crack up the guest with a show open or an hour open. But we did it today with Brent Jones. He is the real water dude. I love this man. And he is also my Assemblyman District 35, and he joins us in studio. You like that?
That's a little harsh.
Yeah, it is a little harsh.
We need to be harsh. We need to wake up, Kevin. The working man, the people that produce the value in our country need to wake up and quit allowing these other people to keep stealing from us, literally taking from us more and more and more in the name of justice or in the name of, I was listening to Hillary this morning, and she's all talking about we have to unite our country and we can't pit people against them. They just always do the exact opposite. It's Saul Alinsky to the penny. They do exactly what they claim they're not doing. And what they're doing is pitting poor people or people that don't produce, I don't want to say poor people because it's people that don't produce value, against those that do produce value. And the people that produce value, we need to wake up. And hopefully we are with Trump, because we can't carry the world on our backs. With open borders, more of these people coming over, us that work hard cannot carry the world on our backs.
The producers are soon to be outweighed by the people that I call them the takers.
Yeah,
they're the consumers, and they don't produce anything. They don't produce any wealth. They simply take from the system. And I guess my question is: do you think we always hear about the anger of the American voter? We heard it during the primary campaign. Do you think that will carry over? Do you think there are enough of those people to outweigh the huge influx of Hispanics and other first-time voters? Do you think there are enough of these angry voters to make a difference this time?
Well, we've gone for too long without waking up, so I hope there are. And you know what's sad is what really is frustrating when the Hispanics come over from Mexico. Why do they want to make us like Mexico? Why did they leave Mexico if they want to make us like Mexico? You come to the United States for the opportunity to get prosperity. I mean, if you've ever been down, like I've been down, I used to go to Ensenada, Rosarita, Tijuana a lot when I was younger. And it's just funny how there's just literally a line in the sand. One side is beautiful houses, nice big roads, and the other side is just this area that's just thrown together, hodgepodge. And it's like, why? We don't want to become that. And if we don't become that, we got to go back to the ways that made us great, which are rewarding people that produce. Not incentivizing non-production, but incentivizing production. It's so simple. It's just like a child. If you let it eat candy all the time, you wonder why it gets fat. No, you got to have it eat good food and exercise. That produces a healthy child. Reward those people that produce, and we will become a healthy nation. It's so simple. When Donald Trump says it's easy, he knows because he's done it. He creates wealth. It's funny how the whole thing about this Donald Trump's a fraud. Well, that didn't work very well, because anybody's got to do is look at any big city and they'll see a big, beautiful building with Trump on the top of it. And they got to rub their eyes and pretend, does that exist? Yes, that does exist. It's not a fraud. He creates value. He creates wealth.
I want to ask you, you were at the rally at the Venetian a week ago.
Yes.
And your thoughts on the electricity in that particular room. You've been to a lot of political rallies. Do you see that normally at normal political rallies?
Well, I think the only reason that was a successful rally is because the MC, the guy that ran it, was so good.
You're
if
so sick.
If he wouldn't have been so good, then I think it probably would. No, and of course I'm referring to you. You were the MC there. It was fun. It was fun. And also, I have to throw a plug in for Wayne, too. Wayne has so many one-liners. He's better than Rodney Dangerfield when it comes to politics. But, no, the energy is just phenomenal. And these are the people. We just got to make sure enough of these people. You know, it was funny because my uncle and aunt came from California to go to that rally. And, of course, their vote's not going to matter in California. But they've worked all their lives. They're hard worker, good middle class. They've saved now, and they're retired. And they came all the way from California to see Trump speak because they know that we need to, take our country back. So, yes, the energy is just phenomenal.
Again, Brent Jones joining us. He is the real water dude. And wouldn't you know, he's consuming a big bottle of real. How many liters?
That's 1 liter.
That's 1 liter?
Yeah.
It's
That's
huge.
Our more popular brand.
It's huge.
Because it tastes so good.
I know. Anyway, he's the real water dude. He's also Assemblyman District 35. He is my state assemblyman. He's running for re-election. We'll talk about that race. Also, his beautiful wife, Amy, from NewsmaxTV.Vegas in studio. Always good to have her in. And let me just ask you about your race. you're a worker bee, and you do a lot of door knocking. You're always in the district. You're always talking to people. What is your sense? I mean, from the doors you've knocked on, from the people you talk to at town halls, tell me what they're thinking.
Well, the big push is all these Democratic voters have been getting out more, particularly here in Nevada. Early voting. I'm not so sure that all those Democrats are voting for Hillary, to be honest with you, because when I talk to a lot of the union guys, the guys that actually work, they are for Donald Trump. A lot of them are. They don't want to just keep giving away because they understand that, hey, I'm willing to work. I want to create value. I want to build things. And they believe Donald Trump will help them more. So this could be a really unique situation. As for my race, my polling, I was up, I think, 6 or 7 points just at the end of early voting. So, but you know what? I'm going to tell you that I'm one of the big proponents that I believe our system's rigged, and these electronic voting machines and stuff can be so easily manipulated. So I'm not 100% confident of how the vote will come out. It started back that I started looking at it when Sharon Engel, I thought for sure she was going to win the Senate, and people could say she blew it, etc. But all the polls said she was up pretty substantially the day before, and then she lost. So it swung by over 10 points with her.
I want to ask you because your son is one of 3 would-be representatives. They were primary candidates who lost, and they can. All they want the state Supreme Court to do is authorize somebody to actually look at the paper trail. Because and you tell me if I'm wrong, but my understanding was from the primary is that these 3 candidates they were leading in their polling. They led in the exit polling. And they lost by almost the inverse. If they were up by 4, they lost by 4.
Yeah.
There was something really peculiar about that. Tell me about that situation, and do you think you'll get any satisfaction, that Blaine will get any satisfaction out of that?
Well, first of all, the statute does not require any presumption or anything like that. It just says if you ask for it, you should be able to see the paper ballot. And what we're talking about is the paper ballot, little scroll that goes to the left of the machine, because you see that if you check, and it is written. So it's truth, right? The problem with electronics is they can be manipulated so easy, and if people got to understand this, literally you could slip a card in, or the programming. There's a whole thing about decimal programming where one person could have like a 0.8 per vote and another person could have 1.2 per vote. They program that into the programming. So it's really suspect what can be done very easily if somebody's in control. And remember, it's the unions that control all of our polling machines. And so now
explain how that works. Explain how the unions.
Okay, so all the machines are watched, supposedly watched. I put that in quotes, and they're controlled by the union.
In the possession of, in other words.
Right. So
they're not controlled. Not like they can't take a screwdriver and turn in dials and things like that.
Right, but they're like the keeper of the keys, so to speak.
Okay.
They control the possession of the machines, moving them, watching them, etc. So I really think that the statute says that we get to see the paper ballot. That would determine exactly if the electronic vote's different than the paper vote, that there's something wrong, and would expose it. Well, our district court said no, even though the statute doesn't require proof or presumption that, this shows there's been cheating, we're supposed to be able to see it. They denied it. It's been with the Supreme Court. My fear is the Supreme Court's just going to say after November 8th, it's moot. So it doesn't matter. But that race is moot, true, but we need to determine the truthfulness of these voting machines.
Let me just ask you, do we need another legislative fix? I thought the legislative fix was if a candidate wants to look and challenge a ballot, they can do it.
Well, that's what the statute says, but the courts aren't allowing it.
So I mean, how much more clear does the legislature need to be come February?
I don't think you need to be any more clear. It's just a matter of enforcing what is written in the statutes, and that's why Donald's been saying the system is rigged. The elite that control our country right now, they don't want to be exposed, and they'll do whatever. And it doesn't matter if they break laws; they'll do whatever they can to not allow themselves to be exposed.
Tell you what, let's do. Let's go to some phone calls. In fact, let's take you up to Carson City. Let's go to Rob in Carson City, listening on 99.1 FM Talk. Good morning, Rob. You're up and you're on. I'm Kevin Wall. That's Brent Jones, the real water dude. Good morning.
Let's make America great again.
I'm with you.
I was in Reno at the rally, right to the left of the stage on the rail under the flag. And there was a number of Secret Service guys right there around us, and there was kids and people trying to get their kids close because we were all hoping that Trump would exit that way and we'd shake his hand. But after the event, they pretty much, he didn't do that. But the coolest thing was the first person to reach up and grab Trump was Giuliani. That was the greatest part. Just like a cat, he jumped, and boom, the Secret Service was right behind him, but the first person to move was Giuliani, and it was great. And they came back, and that rally was rocking, and it was so cool. And right where I was, there was a number of kids, like I said, so we stepped back against the rail and just said, get down, and all these kids and mothers and things all got down, and then within a few minutes, they rushed him out of there so fast, it wasn't even you couldn't even see it. It was so fast.
Did you see the protester?
No, he was like 30 feet from me. There was too much of a mob around him to see him, and I think he was already on the floor by the time I knew anything was going on.
Wow. That was a crazy moment. Were you surprised that Donald J. Trump came back out? I thought they just put him in an SUV and off he'd go, but he came back out and spoke. He finished his speech.
We were all so happy he came back. It was great. When he came back, the roar was outrageous. It was just great. Just great.
Well, let's get all your people up there to vote. Keep that enthusiasm. Get
Everybody vote. Just like Mark Amity said, turnout Tuesday. Mark's right.
I love it. Hey, listen, thanks for your call, Rob. I appreciate it. That's first person reporting. I love that. Let me just ask you because, in fact, tell you what, let me take a quick break. We'll come back.
Okay.
That's Brent Jones. I'm Kevin Wall. We are 1 day away from Election Day, less than a day away. We'll be going to the polls. If you did not early vote, the last chance to change America is tomorrow. My name is Kevin Wall. That's Brent Jones. We're sipping on real water right now as we continue live and local now. It's live and local now. Great to have you with us day before Election Day. My friend Brent Jones joining us from Real Water and from District 35. And he has walked neighborhoods in his district. He's talked to people. He's got a sense of where people are. I want to ask you about your thoughts on Donald J. Trump, and you've had a chance to meet him, and your personal impressions.
Obviously, he's very successful, but he is very, very nice. He doesn't come off as harsh to you as an individual. But I think what's different is that he's got a backbone, and if he doesn't get abused. And that's what I really, just look at what he's created, he's produced. We need somebody that I'm not a politician either. That was my stick when I ran the first time. I'm a businessman. And when you get up into, like I did Carson, it's just amazing how people that have never had to create jobs think different than people that actually create jobs. And Donald's the guy that's created jobs. And you can't create jobs without getting along with people. You have to get people to buy into your vision. You have to get people to buy in and be willing to work for you. Trust me, the old saying, throwing a monkey wrench in the wheels of progress, if people don't like you, you get lots of monkey wrenches thrown at you. And Donald obviously can get people to like him because he actually creates value. And again, it gets back to discipline as well. As sometimes you might disagree with somebody, but if you know that they're leading you in a pro-survival direction, then you will follow them. And I just think, I think Donald's great. Can he not say some of the things he does at times? Like I like the commentator on Fox is saying, are you guys taping mittens on his hands at night so he can't Twitter? And but you know what? He doesn't have this schmarmy, politically correct beingness. He's willing to tell you trust what he says is truth. And that's what's good about it.
And are you amazed at the guy? He's 69 years old, I think, something like that. And he's out doing, he did 7 states yesterday, 5 states today.
Yeah,
where does the guy? He finished up in Leesburg, Virginia, at 1 a.m.
Yeah, no, the energy.
And then was out again, and I think at 11 o'clock the next morning in Sarasota.
So I'll tell you a story with Donald, which is quite amazing. Amy's brother was on The Apprentice the 3rd year. It was Book Smarts versus Street Smarts before they started doing the celebrity. And for many years, Donald would call Chris before Christmas. Chris is Amy's brother, and just say, "Hey, how you doing?" A phone call. You know what I mean? Years later, and because he was a contestant on the Apprentice. How many people do that type of thing? I know I don't, but he's willing to. He puts the energy and puts the work in. He's willing to. He cares about people. He truly does.
Tell me your thoughts. I've got less than a minute. What happens tomorrow? The presidential race, and will Donald J. Trump carry Nevada?
Okay, if I told you I wasn't worried, I'd be lying. But my hope is it's going to be like Brexit. My hope is that us workers, the producers, the people that create value for our country are going to wake up and get up to the polls and actually win Nevada for Donald Trump. And that's what my heart says is going to happen. And just like Brexit, I don't want to believe these rigged polling. I want to believe that the people that actually produce value, that make our country great, are going to get out and stand up and come rallying behind Donald Trump. So I predict a win for Donald in Nevada.
And I think he's going to win Nevada by 4 points. I think it's going to be 4 points. I think they're going to be surprises. I think this huge Hispanic wave may exist, but there's another wave.
Yeah.
And it's the people you were talking about that maybe haven't voted in 5-6 election cycles. They're going to come out of the woodwork, and it is going to be like Brexit. They're calling it Trexit.
Trexit, that's right.
They're trying to call it
Trexit.
Trexit.
Should be Crixit because exit of Hillary.
There you go. There you go.
We don't want Trump to exit. We want him in. But
take out of the history books the Clinton era and end it.
That's right.
Brent, thanks so much.
Lock her up.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's Brent Jones, my real water dude. Stick around. We're going to talk about the Constitution and what is at stake, in particular for the African American vote. We'll get to that more coming up. Live and local now.